We're live. So, what if I told you to post every single day for the next 30 days right now? That could be you. And you might be thinking, I don't have time. I don't know what to do. But the truth is, you do. You don't have a consistent problem. You have a clarity problem. That's really the thing that keeps a lot of people from posting online. And today, we're going to be breaking that down. I'm going to show you guys the difference between what most creators call a consistent problem and and I'm going to show you guys what they're actually struggling with. So, for those who don't know me, my name is CJ Aline. Help run Your Brand Express Media, but I also run my personal brand on social media as well for those who are tapping in from social media. And we're going to be talking about everything. So, I'm going to give you guys the 3 points that we're going to discuss. It's diagnosing the lie, what clarity actually looks like, and the real problem that people have and the symptoms of a clarity problem. So let's get straight to it. So starting with point number one, we're going to be talking about diagnosing the lie. So a lot of creators, as I said, think that they have a consistent problem. And the thing about consistency is, obviously it's just showing up and doing the thing. And a lot of people would think that time is the biggest shaver of that. But in reality, a lot of times, a lot of people are held back by this idea of clarity and having clarity about what you're doing. I remember for me, when I was starting out online on the online space, I could come up with a bunch of video ideas and post them. Recording wasn't really the hard part. It was having a vision, having a clear step by step process of how I was going to go about everything. And I think once I got more clear on that, I was able to deliver that message in many different ways. A lot of people, including Jesus himself, essentially said the same thing over and over again. Think about Jesus' parables, right? He had all these different parables of the sowers, a parable of hidden talents. All these things talk about the gospel. It's the same message, but it's all packaged different. And once he already had the clarity, he had the clarity of those things, and that's how he was able to deliver the message in different ways. And in the same way, a lot of people are held back by this idea of clarity and knowing exactly what they're talking about, who they're talking to, and the goal that you're trying to get them to, and everything like that. So that was a mind breaker for me. I realized the more and more clear I can get about what I'm doing, the better I'll be able to deliver the message, and more consistent I'll be able to deliver the message. So I get it. I'm not saying that nobody has, priorities like school or work or kids, but in reality, we all have the same 24 hours. So that can't necessarily be the only issue. The real issue seems to come down to clarity for most people that I've seen, including myself. So we talked about diagnosing the lie. The lie is that you don't have time or you can't stay consistent. I think the truth is, with consistency, you need a level of clarity, a certain level of clarity to know how you're going to approach your message. So that's point number one. We're going to dive into point number two, which is what does clarity actually look like? So you might be thinking, okay, maybe I struggle with a clarity issue. How can I get more clear about what I'm doing? So clarity isn't having everything figured out, but clarity is actually knowing your next post, it's knowing your next topic and your next move. Essentially, it's kind of having this idea of a ladder, and we might not always know what's next and how to handle or how to steward what's coming up next. But I think one thing is that we're able to steward where we are right now is by having a certain level of clarity and knowing what you're going to do. As I said, I know I'm reiterating it, but sometimes we got to hear it over and over again, right? So for instance, I know for my process, one thing that helps me is to actually prepare my content the week before. So there's a couple of funnels that I like to work through, and I explain this on many different videos. There's the top of the funnel, there's the middle of the funnel, and the bottom of the funnel. Essentially, once you know what your niche is, once you know what you're going to talk about, you're going to organize your content into those three funnels. The top of the funnel, you guys, for my note takers, the top of the funnel is content that is for everybody. It's broad. It's for viral. You're trying to go viral with these type of contents. The goal is to get as much new people into your ecosystem and speak as wide as you can. So, for instance, right, you think about fitness, right? You think about fitness. Maybe it's posting a trending sound but relaying it back to your workout. Maybe it's using your message of nutrition, but you're doing the tier list that people are doing on social media. My point is tier list, like people can speak, anybody can speak to nutrition. Everybody eats. So nutrients essentially is something that can reach everybody. But I think the more, and that's the top of the funnel, right? So that's top of the funnel. Middle of the funnel is more niche specific. So for myself, I like to talk about a lot of content strategy. A lot of people aren't content creators. A lot of people aren't entrepreneurs. So they can't, not everybody's going to grasp this right here. However, the people who are into that stuff will grasp it. So that's the middle of the funnel. It's more niche based, it's more specific, and more speaking to these people. And the goal with this is to try to get people to trust you and trust, and you almost build you also build authority by speaking to this funnel. And I think this is one of the most important things you can get down, because once you get this down, if you get good at giving to people what they need for a long period of time, people by default are going to feel more inclined to trust you when you are start putting out offers. A lot of people try to go a little backwards. They try to put out offers, but they're not putting out things to help people to trust them. They're not putting out things for people to know about them. People got to know you exist, and people got to trust you. And that's what the top and the middle of the funnel are for. Now, the bottom of the funnel is your offers, right? It's your offers. It's content to get people to buy. That's just letting people know, hey, I also do sell these services. I sell, for instance, myself, we sell done for you social media. So if you're struggling with posting consistently online, we help small businesses, entrepreneurs, local businesses, everything like that, post consistently through our services and so much more. I mean, we are able to help those people with our services. Now, you may not know about that, but if you also feel like you can't invest the $497, you can feel free to continue to watch my content, and I'll teach you how to do it. And by default, you guys will either get I'll either be able to help you guys with information or transformation through my offers. And that's how you that's the latter process you go about in delivering your content. And a lot of people kind of miss out on that, because I think once you get clear on your message, once you get clear about the ways you're going to deliver it, like Jesus, he had parables. He straight up told people what was going to happen. I am the Messiah. And he had many different ways that he articulated the message, right? Not to make everything, it's not about sales. Jesus wasn't about sales, but he had to speak to people wherever they were at. And that's the ladder you can use for your own format. I love connecting things back to the Bible, by the way. You'll hear that from me. But anyways, yes, so that's the top, middle, and bottom of funnel. Those are some of the best ways to get clear about your messaging and also how they're delivered. I think once you get clear on those two things, it's really going to help you to not just diversify your content, but you can say the same thing in many different ways. And that is one of the best things that I've learned from not just my spiritual time, but from the best salespeople. They do the best job at saying the same thing in many different ways. So we diagnosed the lie. We talked about what clarity may look like in your content. Now, the third thing is I'm going to give you guys some of the signs that you might have a clarity problem within your creation process or your business. So some of the common things, and I honestly diagnose myself, but if you see yourself fit in these categories, you might have a clarity problem more than actually consistent problem. Number one, you've rebranded or hopped different niches 2 to 3 times this year. I know for myself, when I didn't see results from something, I just was like, all right, let me go pivot to something else. Like for me, I was doing gaming, and I was like, you know what? I'm not feeling this right now. And for me, I knew for me I had to switch my niche because I wasn't really loving it anymore. I feel like I wanted to expand. But when I tried to expand it, it wasn't working as good as my other one. I switched back and I tried something else. And I tried something else. Now, there's nothing wrong with experimenting. However, you do have to take time to sow seeds. Sowing seeds, you're not going to see the result of something until you give the seeds time to grow, right? So definitely make sure that you take your time to stick with something. I would say a fair thing to do is stick for about 6 months, or even 90 days at that. 90 days. See if you're trying to figure out your niche, 90 days is a good estimate. But if you feel like you know something and you're good at something, give it 6 months. See if you get more clear on it. See if there's another thing that you really could see yourself doing. But in order for things to stick, you have to stick with it. That's just the way it is. And I had to learn this lesson the hard way by putting myself through so many different identity crises and stuff like that. But I will say definitely make sure you stick with the things that you put out. So you rebranded or changed your niche 2-3 times this year. You don't. Secondly, you have an idea, but then you talk yourself out of it before filming. I don't know if you find victim of that, but usually when we're clear on something, we know that it's okay. It's for the top of the funnel, or it's for the middle of the funnel, or it's for the bottom of the funnel. But if you're not clear on it, you might think, I don't know if that's a good idea. I don't know if I should do this. But truth is, I think when you take the time to get clear on something, that's how you know it should be delivered. And you'll know based off those 3 categories on who it's for, why you're posting it. That way you don't have to second guess yourself when you're doing it. That's one of the symptoms. Second symptom that I know from clarity problem. Number 3, you post consistent. You post, then delete, and then you second guess the caption. That's just going through the motions of you post it, and then it's like, oh shoot, maybe I should change it. Maybe I should use AI to redo it. AI is obviously a great scripter, but I think it's important to not second guess yourself and just stick with it. Posting doesn't have to be perfect. It's really important that you take imperfect action and stop second guessing your content. And then number 4, you consume more video. You consume videos of how to be consistent. Number 4 is that you consume more content on consistency than actually showing up and being consistent. It's one of those things where you can study out how to be consistent. You can watch a live stream like this on how to be consistent, and then you don't take action. One of the greatest struggles for building a personal brand is that a lot of people are information rich, but implementation poor. And all these kind of fall under that, but that's kind of what it is when you consume all this content. You know how to be consistent, but then you're not taking the action. And that's usually because consistency can get you so far, but if you're not clear, you're going to feel stuck. You're not going to know who your content's for. And you can post consistently things that you're just posting and crossing your fingers. You have no idea where your content's going to land. And that's usually that's the tough thing about consistency, because it's preached, right? Stay consistent, stay consistent, stay consistent, but you might not be clear on what your messaging is. And once again, just to reiterate, those are all the points, but clarity does not mean that you know everything and you know what you're going to do. You're going to do 5 years from now, right? That would be more so knowing everything. Clarity is more so your next post, who your post is for. You have an idea of who your post is for and who it's targeting with those funnels, and what you're aiming for, right? One of the worst things you can be is aimless with this thing. And I won't say that I posted all my videos knowing these things, but if I knew these things ahead of time, that clarity are those things, I think I would have had a different approach to it. And these are just some of the lessons that I've learned from my experience. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I've put in my time of not really knowing what I'm doing. And obviously, don't get it twisted. Posting is better than not posting at all. But I think you will catch yourself in a spiral if you don't understand that clarity problem that we talked about in this stream. So every week without clarity is a week of momentum that you won't get back. Every week, every video, every day counts with these efforts. And overthinking isn't a neutral state of being, but it really compounds into more and more losses over time. Obviously, when we post over time, we learn, we get better, but sometimes we get in this motion where we just post and post and post, and we're not trying to learn. We're just putting stuff out, which isn't bad, right? But you definitely want to learn from your mistakes, and you also want to take every day to try to get more and more clear and sharper on your approach to everything. So you're not failing at your content. You're probably just operating at a system that you're not really clear on. You're not really sure on. It's more like guesswork, right? And this is exactly the gap that not only held me back, but I want to give you guys the opportunity to help you guys out. And this upcoming Thursday, I will be showing you guys one of the exact systems that I use to stay consistent. This Thursday, I'll be hosting a free workshop called Opus Momentum. And I'll be talking about exactly how you go from not knowing what you're going to post next and not knowing what you're going to do to knowing, not just knowing, but having your next 10 to 15 reels already edited, already captioned, just waiting for you to post. It sounds simple. It sounds crazy, but it's so simple. I'm gonna show you guys how to take one video of yours and flip it into 30 different viral pieces of content. This Thursday, be there. It'll be at 7 p.m. If you guys want the link, comment down below Opus, and I'll send it straight to you. I'll send it straight to your DM or your YouTube comment or whatever. It also will be in the description or in the comments of this live stream. But that's exactly where we'll be going about Thursday. I can't wait to host it for you guys, and I actually hope to see you guys there. I really think that if clarity and consistency is your problem, if it's your weakness and if that will take you to the next level, this workshop is going to be very, very beneficial for you all. But that is my lesson. So for those note takers, just to retake you guys back, we talked about diagnosing the lie. We talked about what clarity actually looks like, and we talked about the symptoms of not having clarity in your content. And if this was helpful for you all, please let me know in the comment section below. I love to continue these live streams, and if they benefit you, feel free to share this to a friend if you unlock something. So appreciate you guys listening. I hope this is helpful. I hope this blessed you. And with that being said, I'm gonna invite my dad up, and we will answer any questions in the comment section. Make sure I pull them up, actually. There we go.
Hey.
Cool. What's up, CJ?
This little
split screen is clean.
Almost kicked myself out of here. Had to do a different view.
All good.
But this is more the other one.
Oh, good.
I just prefer this one. It's just more cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I don't know if you had any questions, Pops. For those who don't know, he's the producer of this episode today, by the way. Any thoughts, questions?
Yes, sir. Yeah. What do you do where you go through a time where it's just hard to get back into a groove of putting out content?
Yeah,
we know with running a business, there's more to it than just doing content. There are different elements of it, but just that element of putting out content that you want to put out consistently.
Yeah.
What would you say is something that helps you to get right back into a groove?
That's a good question. For the longest time, and once again, like I'm speaking, a lot of this stuff is to myself. So I try to apply a lot of the things that I'm teaching just because they're almost like revelations for me. And one of the biggest things for me with consistency was kind of not being so sure on my messaging, but also not knowing how to leverage content when I either had a busy season in life or busy season in life, or creating content is just hard, right? The posting, the editing, all that stuff, right? I think one thing that helps me, whether you're a business owner or a creator, is just having one day that you set out in the week to just batch out a bunch of ideas. So the way I go about it is over the weekend, Saturday or Sunday sometime, I try to brainstorm video ideas.
Yeah.
Top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel ideas. So I'll try to find at least 5 viral videos that I see from like-minded creators. I'll write those down because I want to recreate those. I want to take some content that I'm passionate about and convicted on. I write those down. And then I also write down some messages that like I also have seen from other people that worked. And those are like kind of I take some pieces of content that I also, want to promote myself on, like Opus Momentum, all this stuff that I actually have going on. And I try to have those as ideas. So those are ideas. And then I try to have one day where I batch the videos. You batch the videos. I have one day of batching. And I also try to capture content around like what I'm doing in my day. So you as a dad, for instance, maybe you just set up the camera, you prop yourself up doing what you do, and now you can put that in the CapCut and put like some text on the screen, and that's literally content right there, right? So I think one of the best ways to stay consistent is taking all the content that you have outside of your production time, because I call what we do in a day content. So I woke up, ate breakfast, that's content. I went on a walk with my brother, that's content. And I try to, even if it's me propping up for 5 seconds, I try to extract those moments in my day because I'm also living life. And then maybe I'll throw it in CapCut and put a viral caption on there. And boom, that's like 5,000 views or something, for instance, that from me just doing life. I think that's one of the best ways to get in it, get back into it. And after a while, I think the more you post, the more of a flow you get in, more of a routine you get in. And if you pile all those up, all those moments up, you might have 10, 15 pieces of content ready, technically ready to post or ready to edit or ready to post. I hope that made sense.
Right. Oh yeah, it definitely makes sense. It's cool to hear your point of view and how you do it, how you go about it. You know, with what we do, you know, as we serve people with our offers, it's kind of different in a sense. I know for me, I kind of went through a transformation where, you know, my mindset was, hey, I need to be the one, not be the one, but the mindset I want to have and I need to have is when I put my contents out, I'm my most important client. Because I'm gonna give that social proof the best. I'm me. So, and it kind of sounds selfish, but you really think about it. If I have myself as the most important client, I'm just gonna try to lift other people higher than that. So I'm raising the bar as opposed to just sitting back, because I find that even when you're doing stuff for other people, you kind of get lazy or kind of just get comfortable doing their thing. But there got to be a bar that needs to be raised. So the revelation that came to me was, I'm my most important client. I need to always try to raise the bar, and if I do that, I'm gonna lift other people up higher than me. Yeah, I love being behind the scenes, but I'm just a guide. That's the way I look at it, and to point people in the direction they need to go. If this is how you do it, okay, your turn, and to make it fun and transfer my enthusiasm to them.
Yeah.
So I find that that's been the most helpful thing for me. It's hard to be in that groove sometimes, but that's pretty much how I coast, or the direction I go as I'm going through the year or see a specific season.
So. Yeah, that's good. It's I like that. I like that idea, because I think trying to be like the best servant you can be, trying to be the best servant you can be, is great, especially when you're serving, you're also booking yourself, almost like loving your neighbor as yourself, right? It kind of, honestly,
it is.
Think about that. It's like, wow, like when you love your neighbor as yourself, there has to be almost like this balance of like, I gotta, I'm serving these people, I'm serving this audience, but I'm also pouring into myself, and I'm pouring into my my content, my getting clearer on my content. I think when those things are able to be like a equal balance, if you say, I think that's when work starts to feel more like a well-balanced service. That's what I would say.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's easy to kind of hide behind, and it's,
yeah.
I mean, people do that. People do it all the time. But I know for me, I'm not fulfilled if I do that. I want to, how do I raise the bar continually? That's how I do it. If I'm leveling myself up, like you mentioned, love your neighbor as you love yourself. If I'm loving myself and valuing the offer, what I have to offer to people, I'm going to be able to be in that position to empathize when people go through the struggles as well. I'm going to empathize because I'm going to see them going through the struggle, but it's much different. It's a game changer if I'm taking it from my experience of how I feel when I try to level up and I have my roadblocks.
That's so
good. But if I'm thinking, okay, now that's a mindset thing. That's not easy, because it's so easy to not, like, how many times do we go out and give people advice and we don't take the advice ourselves so much? Sometimes it's not because it's not good advice. Sometimes we don't believe in ourselves enough.
Yeah.
But when I take that perspective, it forces me to believe in myself and forces me to go to the source. If I don't believe in myself, I got to figure it out and I got to get there so that I can really experience it and make the most of the opportunity to serve people,
No, right on. I love that.
Yeah. Yes, it's stewardship, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
it's hard, right? And with loving your neighbor as yourself, it's so easy to love others, if that makes sense. So pour yourself out for others, but I would say pouring into yourself actually is creating too. Like it's creating, it's
Absolutely.
not just content, but creating and putting stuff out there and learning from mistakes and all these things. So when you are actively doing these things yourself, you're also able to give people wisdom from what the actions that you're taking. And it almost becomes like this overflow, if you call it. You're serving people out of
Right.
you're serving people obviously out of your capacity, but you're also so poured into yourself that this is just the input that you're getting every day. It's just clockwork, right? So that's what I would
Right.
say. And easier said than
Yeah.
done. And that's all of us in many different areas of life. But in the content, that also applies
Right.
to the content thing too.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a great metaphor for life. You know, you can
Yeah.
it's a great, you can implement that in any area of your life,
Mhm.
and it'll help you to show up better.
For
You know.
sure.
But I find that important in this season of my life, being older and getting more seasoned, and I just find that, and that gives me more energy. And
Yeah.
then I raise a bar, and I'm having more enthusiasm. It's going to be easier for me to translate it because I'm doing it. I'm in the,
Yeah.
it's you're in the, with what we do, we're in the mix of doing it for other people. But if we're doing it for ourselves and we could raise other people higher than us, there's
Mm.
nothing like it.
Yeah. 100%.
Nothing like it.
And there's nothing like
So
seeing yourself. There's also nothing like seeing yourself in somebody else too. Like in a way, like when you see someone going through a struggle that maybe that you were previously, one that comes from
mhm.
loving yourself and putting in the work yourself. When you see someone in that state, like you said, you want to elevate them to where your knowledge, your mistakes, you don't want them to go through the same mistakes as you don't want them to go to the same mistakes that you went through. So loving yourself isn't inherently selfish, because when you're able to love others through it and see yourself through others through it, it almost creates like this sense of like, oh, I gotta help this person. Like I know exactly where he's at because
Right.
I've been there.
Right.
That's deep. That's deep.
So true, man. So true. But that's the only question I have. I mean,
Oh,
that question that question lasted about 6 minutes.
yeah. Oh wow. Yeah, it was fast. That was long, huh?
But that's a good dialogue, man.
For
But
sure.
yeah, we keep doing what we do. We do what
Keep
we
doing what
do.
we do. Yeah, man. And
Hmm.
for any viewers watching right now, the strategy I use, I think I could help you. I probably could help you come up with 30 to 90 video ideas with this. So what I do is I take like the funnels I explained. I take 12 viral things that are working for other people. I take 12 things that are specific to my niche and who I'm trying to help already and things I'm convicted about. And then I take about 6 videos to make, or pieces of content to try to sell what I'm already putting out, my offers. So this is coming from myself. Offers are coming from, my yeah, I'm giving out offers that I have for myself. I'm delivering 12 pieces of viral videos that are working for other people. And then I'm also delivering 12 pieces of content from my conviction. So essentially, these are content coming from my mind. I'm not really like, it's not, these are things that I've learned and things that I've already like exercised, and also things that I'm already trying to get people to know. So I take,
Right.
that's 12 plus 12 plus 6, that's 30, right? That's 30 video ideas. And then I try to record each of those video ideas in 3 different formats. So maybe it's me reacting to a YouTube video. Maybe it's me doing a talking head, or maybe it's me talking on live to you guys right now. That's 3 different ways I'm saying the same thing. Like Jesus, he said the same thing in many different ways. And those are the formats that we can use. And then 30 times 3 is 90.
Right.
So you take those 3 formats times those 30 videos, that's 90 videos already that you can have for a season.
Right.
And that might be able to be
That's
helpful.
productive, man.
Yeah. So
Yes, indeed.
hope that was helpful. That was a lot.
Come to the work
But be there
and
for
come to the
workshop.
Opus workshop.
100%. We'll be doing that Thursday, 7 p.m. So be there. I really think you'll be able to be blessed. And I do think this will be able to help you if consistency is a struggle. Hope this is helpful. Thank you guys for listening. And I'll see you guys in the next live. Peace.
Peace.